again.
Episode 11.
11. Man,
11.
Great job.
You too, man.
We're chipping away.
We are.
We're being consistent, and we're coming out, week by week.
I hope you guys are seeing value in what we're doing.
I hope so too.
I enjoy doing this.
Yeah, it's great. We love it. We love sharing what's going on, what things happening. So it's gonna be a great episode today.
I bought a book off Amazon.
Okay, which one?
It's about how to gain exposure for your YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. I like that. And what's the detail?
Well, basically,
Cliff
Notes is we got to hit like 100 videos.
And we knew that.
We knew that.
We knew that. This is going to be a year project for us. And we said, hey, as long as we take that first step, right? Just can't eat an elephant at a whole bite, one bite at a time. Yeah. And we knew it was going to be a process, and we're just staying consistent. That's all we can do.
And if, the few of you that are watching this, if you're getting value from this, hey, man, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for tuning in and sitting through our podcast. We try to keep them, 25, 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah.
We don't want to eat up your whole day, but we just want to try to deliver the goods. Yeah. We want to help improve your business and recession-proof your business.
That's right.
And just give you something that you can add to your current real estate business that you can count on, that's reliable, that's scalable, right, and consistent.
That's right. That's why we're doing these.
So today's topic, last week we talked about deal flow, right? If you didn't see that episode, it was a really good episode. Go back and check that one out. Ran about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
This week we're going to talk about. We've talked about this before in a previous episode, so we're going to kind of recap some things, but it's an important topic, and I think it's something that should be addressed, kind of over and over and over again. And I mean, I guess our viewers can go back and watch that same podcast over and over and over again, but I think it's also kind of nice to reintroduce it.
A refresher, right?
Kind of talk about it in maybe a little bit of a different light and add little different nuances to certain things. And it's we're just going to be talking about probate real estate, selling probate properties, paperwork that goes into it, the legalities that go into it, and give you all of the blueprints that you'll need, like almost like checklists, right? That you'll need to be aware of as you get into probate transactions.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this process is a process, and there are checklists, so it's always good to kind of recap, get a refresher. And we hope that you guys are applying this or even starting this. That's our goal for the viewers, to start probate and us be a resource for you guys to really get out there and start doing this type of business.
Exactly. But before we start talking about episode 11's topic of selling real estate during probate, tell us about that new bling you got hanging off your neck there, man. I like that, man. I was kind of peeping it, shiny.
All right. Well, what's interesting is in 2020 we took a little road trip, and one of the stops we did was in Memphis, Tennessee, and we visited Graceland, as you guys know, the Elvis Presley's mansion or what have you. So we toured it. Great story, great information. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend it.
Is that like a guided tour?
It can be, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get to see all. And what I liked about that is he was very philanthropic, and that's kind of what we are always talking about. The more you give, the more you receive. And I find it ironic that even though he's been dead since 1977, he's like one of the richest dead people alive. It is because his store, if you don't know he gave a lot to charity. He was very charitable, and I thought, I do like that. But as we're touring, they were showing his jewelry collection, and this exact kind of piece, the chain, and this is a high necklace. It's Jewish. I'm not Jewish, but I liked it because it represents life, meaning, good energy. So I thought, you know what, I like that. So ended up actually getting it made, and here it is. I don't wear it all the time, but I figure for our 11th episode, it's
Yeah.
special. We
Yeah.
hit the best of 10 mark. You know, we're getting good energy, and that's all
Yeah.
we want to share.
11.
So it just
I think,
segues into this.
I think that's
podcast.
perfect for the 11th episode.
That's right.
There's something about that number 11 being, you know, something with good energy. I'm
Yeah.
always seeing 1111 everywhere, and
That's
111,
right.
and now
That's
you
right.
got the 11 on your chain. And
Right.
that's good. I like that. You know, maybe
Yeah.
we should add that to the Probate Hero Collective Podcast
We
swag.
can.
You can get your
Yeah.
Elvis Presley good energy chain
Right.
after your first deal.
First deal, you
Yeah,
get one. There
get
you
one.
go.
Yeah, we'll gift it to you.
There you go.
But getting back to today's topic, selling real
Mhm.
estate during probate, we want to
Mhm.
cover, you know, some strategies, some best practices that come up when you're selling these homes
Mhm.
through the probate process.
Yeah.
So the first one that we should probably talk about is getting that property prepared for
Right.
sale. And that goes back to something that we mentioned when we really dove into this topic,
Mhm.
going over our options with the estate.
Right. And that right there is, once you know what the options are, then you know how to attack, go about what you're going to do to get the property prepared. Now, some people want to sell off market. They have tons of stuff, order house. They don't want to do anything. They just want an offer and be done.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the option. But to the estates that say, you know what, we do need to be cleaned out, and that. So then explain kind of how that works as far as options, clean out, which we have those resources, and then you get it prepared to get on the market, going
Yeah.
on the multiple listing service.
Yeah. So for a property that we encounter that, like Ray said, potentially be a hoarder house, or it's
Mhm.
in really bad condition, you know, the needs a new roof, and you know there's leaks everywhere and
Mhm.
foundation issues. You know the drill, right? It's your typical flip opportunity for an
Mhm.
investor.
Yeah.
A property like that, we're just going to sell it to one of our investors exactly how it sits. The estate doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
Um, of course, that's going to come with a discounted price. We address that up front, so there's no surprises.
Mhm.
We try to manage those expectations as
We'll
best as we
give them
can,
options.
right?
Mhm.
But if that, after we cover all of that on what that looks like, if the estate feels like they would like to try to get a little bit more money for it, they still want to sell it as is,
Mhm.
but they would like to get a little bit more money for it, then I always recommend, well, we can still go to the market as is in its
Right.
current condition,
Right.
but we are going to have to get the house cleaned out.
Yes.
We're going to have to get all the junk and stuff removed from the yard.
Mhm.
And we have the resources to do that. We have crews, big old trucks, and all that stuff
Mhm.
to come in and do all of that. And you don't have to pay them up front. You can pay them through escrow.
Mhm.
So there's no upfront out of pocket expenses that fall on the individual.
Right.
Comes out of the estate sale proceeds, right? And then the house can be cleaned out and then put on the market,
Mhm.
be shown, what have you, have buyers come through. It's typically going to still end up being a investor sale.
For the
But you
most
never
part.
know.
You never know. Yeah.
There was remember we went out to Dos Palos for that one that I sold,
Yeah.
and it
That's
was
right.
it was like a junkyard,
Yeah.
right?
When we got there, they were still moving.
They were
stuff.
they were moving stuff from one room to another room for some reason. Couldn't figure that one out. But
Oh,
that
boy.
one ended up selling to a retail buyer.
Yeah, that
Someone's moving into it,
Yeah.
and
Interestingly
the
enough, you just
individual who
never know.
bought it is a general contractor. So got a property with a
Yep.
huge lot at a fire sale price,
Mhm.
and over the life of ownership, he's going to do all the work himself,
That's right.
right? So
Yeah.
those buyers might be a needle in the haystack,
Yeah.
but they're out there,
They're
and
out there.
you
never
find
know.
them. You
You
find
never
them
know.
when you prepare the property to go on the market as is. So you want to have those resources available.
Mhm.
Mainly, it's just trash out,
For the most
landscaping,
part,
for the
cleaning
most
it up,
part.
just getting it prepared, so when people are walking in, they're not stumbling on boxes and all that. Just cleaning all that out. Right.
Right. And then, what about the clients that they want every dollar and they want top dollar?
Well, and we do have those, so we give them options. Now, if they want that, now it can be as minor as just painting some of the rooms, put new carpet. It's in decent condition, but it just needs a little refreshing up to do. And that's like one of the clients that we did had it painted, put new carpets
Mhm.
over a
New lawn, put a
new
new
lawn,
lawn,
new
a
lawn.
brand new front lawn.
Yep, new lawn. So we have those resources, and then the other side, if it's just needs a ton of work, but nope, I want it fixed up. We have those
I
resources.
want it fixed up, but I don't have the money.
Well, and that
And that
happens. And a lot
happens.
of these they don't want to pay nothing up front, right? They want as much as they can get and as little as money they can put in. So we have those resources that will actually front the money at a cost and fix up the property depending what it needs, roof, maybe
It's
an
a full
updated
remodel,
yeah, for the most
as
part.
if it was gonna get flipped.
Exactly. And then when it goes on the market, you're looking at top of the market for that specific property. But then all those proceeds that were fronted, that's coming off of the net
Plus a fee.
plus a fee. But that's an option they can do,
Mhm.
right? Nothing came out of their pocket.
No, and we like I said, we manage their expectations.
Yep.
So we show them what the estimated seller's net sheet's gonna look like
Yeah.
if we go that route and we sell at this top of the market value.
Yeah.
And then after, if there is a mortgage, after that's paid,
Mhm.
after the money to do the remodel is paid, plus the fee is paid, what their net is going to be to the
Right.
estate, we show them that. We
Yeah.
show them what the net is for on market as is.
Yep.
We show them what the net is off market as is,
With no fees
with
and
no
all.
fees and no
And
this.
a lot of times it's almost like a break even, when you really
It's
look at the numbers.
sometimes it can be very, very, very
Very,
close.
very, very close.
And then what ends up making or what ends up being the linchpin in the decision making is less of their time involved.
yeah, that's
Like,
right.
okay, wow. So it's only, a 5 grand difference if I get the house cleaned out and on market as opposed to just being done with it now.
Yeah,
Let's just be done with it now.
yeah. A lot of times that's usually how it breaks down, right? Showing their numbers. And that's what you want to do. You want to give options and you want to come with net sheets on specific pricing because they want to see that.
Yeah.
What does it cost? What is it going to cost me? Well, here, let's look at it together and let's look at the different options,
And where did you get these numbers from? Well, here's the comparables.
right?
Here's a property that's same property,
All fixed up.
all fixed up.
This is what it sold for.
Here's what it sold for
Right.
last month.
Right, exactly.
Right. So,
But just having those, resources to show them because that's what they want to see. They want to see what is their net, and when you provide that, the different options, then you let them choose what they want to do.
yeah.
Right.
And in addition to that, when you're selling a house that's going through the probate process, in addition to evaluation and explaining how
Mhm.
the sale proceeds break down, there's additional legal documents that come up that you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times your clients are aware of them, but a lot of the times they're not. And either way it goes, you want to be aware of them.
Yeah.
If your clients are aware of them, maybe their attorney made them aware of these documents.
Mhm.
When you are explaining, or when Ray and I are explaining what these legal documents are that are required in order to close a sale that's in probate, even though they already were told this by their attorney,
Attorney.
we still reiterate it because we want the client to know that we know what we're doing and that
Right.
we know what we're talking.
Yep.
So just to recap those legal documents, this is when you are in escrow, okay? You have to have what's called the certified letters, either the certified letters of administration or certified letters of testamentary, okay? You also,
And the only difference between those is
if
basically a
it's
will.
certified letters of testamentary, that means that the deceased died with a will.
Right.
No will, certified letters of administration.
Right. Same thing. Just
Same
different
thing.
name.
Same thing, okay?
Mhm.
The reason for that is if there was a will, when the probate reaches the end of probate, which is called final distribution, the distribution of the assets of the proceeds is broken down and follows the will to a T.
Correct.
If there's no will, then that distribution process follows probate code.
Right.
That's how it works.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the next document that is required by title in order for title to close your sale is a copy of the notice of proposed action. NOPA.
The NOPA.
That's an acronym. NOPA. NOPA.
Right. Right.
This document is issued to all of the heirs involved in a probate anytime an action is taken against an asset. Any of the assets are
Mhm.
converted from, being an asset to its monetary equivalent, all
Mhm.
right? Like selling a house, right? And it will break down and disclose price, the terms, your commission, all of that, and
Mhm.
then it'll be distributed to all the other heirs.
Mhm.
And now there's a 15-day waiting period for
Right.
the notice of proposed action to expire. And during those 15 days, any of the other heirs that were notified of the NOPA
Mhm.
have the right to contest the sale.
Right.
If they end up contesting the sale, they have to do so in writing, and then everyone goes to court, yada, yada, yada.
It's a process,
It's a
but
process.
they have to do that.
I've only had it happen once in 20 years,
Well, it does
but
happen,
it does happen.
but if they miss that deadline,
If they miss that deadline, they're done. Can't contest.
can't contest. In other words, the sale will continue.
Yes. And if they do nothing, maybe all the heirs are on board and they
Mhm.
all agree to the sale,
Right.
but no one does anything.
Mhm.
That's the same as agreeing for the
Right.
sale. Okay, granting the sale. And then the third document is the federal tax statement letter, also known as the comfort letter. And this is just a letter from the attorney or from the executor administrator stating that all the estate taxes are in order, there's no heir contesting, and they're basically
They're good to
they're
go.
good to go.
You can close the sale.
Now with those three documents in title, and the certified letters have to be actually
Mhm.
certified.
Right.
Why don't you tell the viewers, because you just recently did this for Mockingbird.
For Mockingbird, yes, that's right. So right, that process. So you have to have the certified letter. So what that means is you have to go to the courthouse, give them the form, right? And then they're going to stamp and certify that it has been certified by the county. And now with that certification stamp, now that's the paper you need, that title needs, that says this is an official document. It can't be a copy. It has to be the original. And then you will get that the title, and now they can close the transaction.
Correct.
But you have to get that at the courthouse.
Yeah. How do you get that document? Well, you either can get it at the courthouse. You go up to the clerk window and you
Yep.
say, "Here's my file number. I need a copy of
It's about
certified
80
letters."
bucks or so.
It's
40,
like $40.
40 bucks. That's right.
So
I
one
got
way
two
to
copies.
Yeah, 2 copies. We always get 2 copies.
Right.
One for us to send the title, and then one for us to give to our client.
Yeah, certified.
Yeah,
So
because
they have
they're
that.
gonna need that document to open up the estate bank account. They need the certified letters and
Right.
an EIN number, right?
Mhm.
So the ways to get a copy of the certified letters is, like Ray said, you can go to the courthouse, speak to the clerk, give them the file number to the probate,
Mhm.
ask for a copy of the certified letters. Boom, $40, they'll give it to you, walk out with the
Yep,
certified letters.
certified. Yep.
You can print one off of the internet if it's accessible, but you still have to take that printed copy into the courthouse, like Ray said, to get the clerk to stamp it and sign it. Now it's certified.
Right.
And then you do that 2 times, and then you send 1 copy to the title company.
Right. Because the title won't take a copy of it. It has to be the original
Exactly.
certification.
Exactly.
Yep.
So those are the documents. Now, talking a little bit more about probate specific type documents that you're going to want to be knowledgeable about as you're handling these transactions are the estate's exemption
Hmm.
when they're selling property. Okay. So when you're selling regular real estate, like on the last transaction that you did, your seller probably had to produce and pay for a NHD report.
NHD, yep. The seller property questionnaire, all the knowledge about the property,
The
all that
TDS,
stuff. TDS,
transfer disclosure. Yep. Well, in a probate sale, the estate is exempt from the NHD. So
Mhm.
that's a buyer cost.
Right.
Put that in your MLS listing in the confidential
Because
remarks.
typical sales, the seller pays for that. That's
Correct.
about $100 or so. But for probate,
Exempt.
they're exempt.
Yep.
So the buyer has to purchase.
Yeah. I just put that in confidential remarks.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other disclosure that I mentioned in the confidential remarks is probate sales are exempt from furnishing the TDS.
Transfer disclosure statement.
And the reason for that,
Never lived there.
if you're wondering, the person
most
who
part.
owned the house and lived there died.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't put that on the administrator or the executor to know all that.
Correct.
Even if it's somebody who's like an adult child who's living in the
Mhm.
house, taking care of mom or whatever, you're still exempt.
Yep.
All right. And then there's other things like smoke detectors. The states, they're exempt from having to do that. Buyers have to do that. But coincidentally, they're not, the probates are not exempt from carbon monoxide, which is
Okay.
interesting because most of them nowadays that I see, they're like the combos,
You're right.
right? And just so you know, maybe you're asking yourself this question or not. On our properties, we just do it.
We just do it. Yeah.
We
It's
just
such
do
a
it.
small
It's such a
cost.
small thing. We
Yeah.
go and we go in there, we count and see how many we need to go get, and we just
Just
go to
get 'em.
Home Depot, grab them, put them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. When the appraiser comes, it's not going to get called because they're
Right.
brand new and they're working. You're good to go.
Because I mean, just to add on that point, like the estate is exempt from smoke detectors, but let's say somebody's purchasing it that wants to live there, they're going to get an appraisal, and if they're not in there, then you got to let the buyer know to buy them, and
It's the whole thing.
So we're just proactive just to get them done. I mean, it's a small cost, but for the probate code, they're exempt from that, from the smoke detector.
Exactly. And a few other exemptions. They don't have to furnish in like Mellow Ruse reports,
Mm-hmm.
earthquake guides,
Right.
things like that. It's all on your probate advisory.
Yes,
you should
correct.
you should print that and
And
have that around.
It'll spell out what the
It'll spell out
exemptions-
everything. And a great reason, in addition to what I just said on why you want to print out the probate advisory, those are great talking points
Yeah.
for when you're prospecting. To be able to communicate about something other than what everybody else is calling and talking about. Being the
Yeah.
best listing agent, I can sell it for the best amount of money. I'm the best.
Right.
You're talking about stuff that actually applies to them that no one
Yes.
else is talking about.
Correct.
That's how you raise that stock.
Absolutely.
But and speaking of that, that's a great segue into some marketing strategies
Mm-hmm.
when you're selling a home that's in probate,
Right.
right?
Right.
So first place I always go are to my investor list.
Absolutely. Yeah. The investors, that's what they're looking for. They know how it works. And a lot of times the property needs quite a bit of work. So that's where you want to start, and you want to start building that right investor list. And we talked about on another podcast how to create your investor list, but that's always a great starting point.
Yeah, that's where I begin,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the condition of the property, even if it's in
Right.
in great condition.
Mm-hmm.
So a great example is a potential client that we spoke to earlier this week. Properties up in Sonoma County. The individual isn't going to be approved until next month, but we started conversing with this person, trying to figure out options for this individual to hold on to the
To
property.
keep the property.
Keep the property.
Yeah.
Because if we can help them do that, great.
Right.
But in the event that they're not able to keep the property, we already want to have all of our ducks in the row.
Mm-hmm.
And just like we talked about on the last podcast, deal flow, you just got to follow your system, right?
Yep.
And our system is we line up investors, we get them interested first, we get that number out in front of our clients. And now we're able to actually have an intelligent conversation. Say, hey, offer on the table as is for this number, no commission, no fees. Here's your net.
And here's the comparables. So
Here's the
give them a
comparables.
whole outline of what they're looking for.
If we go on market, we can go on market around this price.
Right.
Here's what the estimated net sheet would be for that. Here's what that time frame is going to look like.
Right.
Just to really paint a clear picture so the client can make an intelligent decision.
Right.
And not second guess anything. We don't want any buyer's remorse.
Right.
Right? Put it all out there. So when we're marketing a property, I always start with our investor list first.
Right.
Then the next list that I go to is I go to my off-market retail buyer list. So in all the counties that we work, and as we mentioned many times, we work all 58 counties in California and a few other states, here and there. Like Nevada, we do Clark County and Washoe County, and we got a couple in Oregon and one in Mississippi right now, Pearl, Mississippi. In those areas, in those counties that we work, I'm constantly running ads for off-market properties for buyers to, basically raise their hand.
I'm
I'm
interested. What's this about?
And then they go onto my list. I
Right.
get their contact information, and then when I get a property in that county, I blast that property out to that list. I'm not giving out addresses or anything like that, but I'm giving out streets so they know like the area, bedroom count, bath count, square footage, amenities, a price range, things like that. And I'm looking to see where it's going to stick. And I'm bringing all of this data to the table when we're talking to a client. And from all of this, it's either going to sell here, or go on the market for this.
Right. We've already exhausted a lot of the options before it gets to the open market, but you just have to have those options, right, for your client and show them. Because, I mean, some clients want to sell it, they want to be done with it and just move on. And if you don't have that resource available to them, somebody's going to come in and offer that. So that's why when you are connecting with these states, you really want to have all the options covered for them and then let them choose.
And then when you have the property up for sale, let's say that we go, a great example is Mockingbird.
Right.
So a property out in Contra Costa County that we just closed on, we did exactly what we just laid out. We brought the offer from the investor, 2 of them actually, and our client, no. It was way below what their expectations were. And we told them that coming in, it's going to be way lower than you're anticipating. I'd like to see it anyways. Okay, so we put it all together, presented it to them. Nah, way too low. Okay, well, what if I'm the client speaking. Well, what if I just fix it up myself? Well,
that's an option.
That's an option, but here's how much that's going to cost, and here's how much time that's going to cost. And his wife chimed in and said, "We're the ones paying the mortgage, and we don't want to pay 6 more months of mortgage. We just want to sell it as is."
Another 3 to 6 months. Permit. So that's kind of the time frame. And for them, it really didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense. So we ended up going on market as is.
We did.
All right.
We did. Yep.
And man, did we have activity?
Yeah, we did. We got a few offers.
We had multiple offers, and one of the offers was from a buyer of mine and Ray's, and which was a little bit below the asking price, about 50 grand below. So maybe not a little bit, but it was, about 50 grand, right?
Yeah. Probably needed a little bit of work, and also they were willing to give the brother in the home money.
Some cash for keys.
So is
but in a
40K under what?
About 40K. About 40K. But the reason why we even bring that up is because another agent brought in an offer.
Good point.
Over our asking price, 500 and something, 510 or something like that.
And you got to be cautious of those. Explain how.
And I was like, uh-oh. And our clients were getting all giddy about it. And I was telling them, hold on, pump the brakes a little bit. Let me just do what I do. Here's what I think we need to do. All right, tell me, Gary. And I said, we are going to counter this 510 offer. What? Here's why. You can't just look, don't get price blind. Look at the terms. They have contingency. They have a loan and appraisal contingency. Here's what they're most likely trying to do. They're coming in at a high price because they want to attract your attention with that price, get accepted, and get rid of all the other offers.
Right.
And then during their due diligence period, they're going to find all these things wrong with the house and say, oh, we can't pay that number now. We can only pay this number.
Right.
And if that's not enough, they're banking on it not appraising for that higher number, which means you're going to have to roll back that price.
Yeah. And that's the strategy a lot of investors will try and do. So you got to be careful.
And that's what I told them. It's a lot of strategies that investors do. I see it a lot with the probate, especially the probates that we sell.
Right.
And that's why you hired us, is to protect you.
Right.
So we're going to counter, and we're going to counter out
very specific terms.
Very specific counter.
We did,
removing those terms.
Right.
No contingencies, no appraisal. If they want an appraisal and it's lower than what the house is listed for, the buyer has to come up with the money.
Yep.
If they do want to have an inspection contingency, anything that's found, it's just information purposes only.
Right.
No reduction in price. So you see where I'm going with this, right? Well, guess what happened? Tell them what happened.
That's what investors do. So we just made it a point to really protect our client and just put in those very strict contingencies, guidelines that our client was willing to accept, and they were nowhere to be found. So that's why we want our client deal closed, and here we are.
Yep. So that just goes into the last little point here as we wrap this up.
Yeah.
You want to add this very special addendum that my dad trained us and everyone else that he's trained that go with all of our probates. And before we ratify any contract, this addendum has to be accepted by the buyer side. And it's just an added protection to the estate, to your client. It lays out all the probate jargon. It identifies who the administrator is that's selling the estate and how they're selling the estate. Identifies the title company. We always, non-negotiable.
It's mandatory because there's too much paperwork involved and all that.
You're using our title company.
Yeah.
Because they already have the probate
Everything in line.
documents.
Yeah.
That's non-negotiable.
Right.
And then it also has a protection in there that I'd love to give to you right now, but for the agents that actually work with us and that are being trained by us,
you get all that.
I can't just give it to you for nothing. Like, they pay for it. So there's very specific wording in there that prevents your client from any financial or legal issues that could come up during the sale. And as Ray and I explained with that example from Mockingbird, investors will try a lot of things to try to get the deal. Not that they're doing anything illegal, but they're trying to do everything that they can do to get the best deal. And it's our job to protect our client.
Correct.
All right. So wrapping it up.
All right. Well, good job.
Yeah.
Good. And
I hope you guys liked episode 11.
We do, and hopefully we're getting some more viewers. I mean,
I got that book. You got the book?
Yeah, okay. So this is a process. We're chipping away. But if you like this, hit the like, subscribe. We would appreciate that. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'd love to answer them. We'd love to help you guys.
Yep. And if you're feeling like you want to work with us,
come on down.
Come on down. The price is right. We'd love to have that conversation.
Yes, we would.
No harm, no foul, no obligation.
No obligation.
Just to have a conversation with you. And we might have a conversation. We might tell you that you're not a right fit for us.
Right.
But just to have a conversation, we want to see where your business is at. See if you have that level of coachability that we're looking for in agents. And hey, if that's you, you can do exactly what you're doing at any real estate company.
Correct.
Okay? Any real estate company, you can still do exactly what you do. Your clients are going to still work with you because they work with you because you are you, not because you're Remax or Coldwell Banker or whatever. Right. They work with you because you're you. So whatever your real estate business is now, you can do that at EXP. And you can come work directly with us. And we're going to teach you everything that we do, even that special wording on the addendum.
Absolutely.
All right. So,
well, great job. Until next time.
Yep. Until next time, I'm Gary.
I'm Ray.
This has been the Probate Hero Collective.
All right.
See you later.
See you later.